Well, hey everybody, it's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. But today we're talking about gathering with Nanny Bubby and then Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group. I just really want to tell all of you what a great job you're doing joining into all the fun on behalf of Wisconsin Cheese. Hashtag Wisconsin Cheese. Love all of the posts. Hey, Mom. Love all of the everything that you guys are all putting in together. Love all the feedback that you're doing with each other and how much engagement we have. And it's just been so fun for me to get in there and see what everybody's doing, see what everybody's talking about. And I just want to add, it is always my goal to have Gather with Nanny Bubby be a place where everybody goes in case you have questions. If you're cooking a dinner, you're cooking a lunch, and all of a sudden you don't have an ingredient and you want to know what to do, I really believe that if you post the question and Gather with Nanny Bubby, all of us will pop in. One of us, some of us, all of us will find a way to answer your question and just help you continue forward. So cooking is our most basic instinct to feed ourselves and our children, and why not make it joyful and ambitious and fun? So that's what we're doing in Gather, but we're also going to be cooking two recipes that came from Proudly Wisconsin Cheese today. The reason I'm doing two is the first one seemed like it was complicated, and when I read through it a little bit more, I realized that I would be done in 6 minutes. And so we're doing a second recipe, which is going to be Parmesan thyme crackers. So I'm going to freeze those when we're done and use them next time someone drops by unexpectedly so that I have an appetizer to pull out of the refrigerator. So without further ado, let me just remind you to go ahead and post pictures or recipes in Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group. And on Friday, we will pull, that enters you to win. And no matter how many pictures you post, that gives you an opportunity to get your name in the hat and or the mixing bowl, whatever we use. And I will pull the name of the lucky winner who will get shipped. Hey, Victoria Quinn. Hi, Teresa, who will get shipped a fabulous cheese basket from Wisconsin Cheese. Remember to tag everything Wisconsin Cheese and hashtag Wisconsin Cheese. You could also hashtag Proudly Wisconsin. I am not proudly Wisconsin. My mother-in-law is. I am proudly Nevadan or proudly Las Vegas. So I am just hashtagging Wisconsin Cheese. But many of you could be from Wisconsin or have family from there. So, you know, have at it. Those are the two hashtags, Proudly Wisconsin or Wisconsin Cheese. All righty. Without further ado, let's get started. We are making a Swiss cheese and spinach crustless quiche. Are you ready for that? This quiche is crustless, which is what I love. So we're going to take 8 large eggs before we take 3/4 of a cup of cream. So let's get these eggs rolling. 1, and I got a shell in there. And the best way to get a shell out is with another shell. So don't try to go with a spoon or with your hands. You'll never get it out. But always use a cracked shell, and they come right out. So let's count along. 2. What is that in there? That looks like something that should not have been in there when I cracked this to start with. So let me get this out. There we go. Looks like it. Sorry about that, but I do not want that in there. Okay, that was not a shell. That was left over from some other time. I'm embarrassed to tell you. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, this is coming out of the shells. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th one I'm going to use to pull out what just dropped in from inside the shell, whatever that is. So there we go. And again, use a shell to get out whatever is in that egg that you do not want in your, there it is, in the recipe. that one is out, and there's just a little drop over here. If I can get that out, let's see. No, it is not happening for me. I'm going to fight with it because I do not want that in here. So it's just a little blood drop in that yolk, and I really think I can get it out. Here we go. Have you ever seen anybody more committed to something than I am to this? There it is. I got it. Got it. Okay. Out it goes. There we go. Okay. So, sorry about that, but I could not. Hey, Frank. So where are you today? Are you in Phoenix or are you someone else? Frank is our over-the-road 18-wheeler driver. He tunes in every day no matter where he is. At home, he's a great cook, but when he's out on the road, he's eating stuff that probably has forced him to become a good cook, because those lamb chops last night, Frank, didn't look so good. All right, so there's the eggs. We're putting in 3/4 of a cup of milk. We're going to put in 3/4 of a cup of heavy whipping cream. There we go. San Bernardino. Okay, well, I'm hoping that the food that you have tonight is better than the food that you had last night, Frank. That's my wish for you. So there we go. There's the cream. And we'll get this put back into the refrigerator. And then we're going to whip this up. And we're going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pepper. Now, again, we are making a cheese and spinach quiche. I got this recipe right off Wisconsin Cheese website, wisconsincheese.com. There we go, a little bit of pepper in there. And we're going to mix this up. Okay, there we go. Now, I found a fabulous bag of a combination of Swiss cheese and Gruyere. Yeah, Frank, it looked brutal. I really, my heart pained for you. Let me tell you, all of you go in together and take a look at all the beautiful pictures Frank had posted from his cookbook, which were just gorgeous. He's a wonderful cook. And then he posted last night what he was eating on the road. And I think everybody's heart just ached for him. So it was kind of cute, kind of funny in an ironic way. Anyway, hope tonight is better, Frank. So I was just telling you about this Swiss cheese and Gruyere cheese. I found this at Trader Joe's, and I thought it was an interesting flavor. And even though this recipe only calls for Swiss cheese, I'm putting in this Swiss and Gruyere because I love the nuttiness of the Gruyere cheese. And this is a 12-ounce bag. It calls for 6 ounces of cheese, so I'm putting in about half the bag. I want to tell you, you can taste the Swiss, you can taste the Gruyere, and I just think it's going to enhance this recipe. So I couldn't bring myself to not buy it, even though the recipe only calls for Swiss. Let's mix that in. We're going to put in 1.5 cups of chopped spinach, which I have right here. Throwing that spinach right in. And the next thing that it calls for are chives and tarragon. So I could not find tarragon anywhere today. It happens to be the only herb that I am not, excuse me, I'm choking on the cheese, that I don't grow in my garden. So I went out and I grabbed these. These are fennel fronds, and they have a really anise smell to them, very similar to tarragon. Tarragon also has that anise flavor to them. So I am going to just chop up some of this and throw it in place of the tarragon. And tomorrow, when my farmer comes to help me with the garden, I'm going to ask her if she will help me plant some tarragon, because it seems lately I have a big call for tarragon in so many recipes, and I rarely have ever used tarragon in the past. So there we go. There's the fennel fronds, and now here is, I don't know if you can see that, but I want you to be able to see that. This is the fresh thyme that came right out of the garden. Look at this beautiful thyme. So gorgeous. We're just going to chop this up. There we go. And that's it for this recipe. Can I tell you? That's how easy this recipe is. So I would be tuning out right now and saying, thank you for joining me today. And I didn't want to do that because what is it? It's 3:12. I'd be saying, well, that's it, everybody. See ya. And usually we spend about 30 to 45 minutes together every day. So that's why we're doing the second recipe today. Okay, so let me tell you the key to this. And that is that I have this beautiful baking dish, perfect size for a quiche. And this is a crustless quiche. So there's nothing, there's no flour in this, nothing to make a crust. So what I've done is I have, hey, Arlene Wiesner, thank you for joining me. I have buttered this, greased it with a regular butter, really good. Hey, Lisa Longno, is it Longno? Yes, Longno, thank you for joining us. Grease this very, very well, and now I am just going to take this fabulous quiche mixture with the beautiful Swiss and Gruyere and the spinach and everything, and we are just going to pour this right into the plate. Looks gorgeous, doesn't it? There we go. All right. And this we'll put over there. So I love this. This is a Michael Aram's serving plate. You could leave it in there and just follow me in there, right?
It's harder.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to just spread this around. We're going to go put this in the oven together. And Megan was just readying the camera to take it. But okay. Right, because you can't see. All right, so here we go. It serves in this, which makes it just absolutely beautiful. And now I'm going to take this beautiful plate right here, crustless quiche, and I'm just going to place that right in there. And it is going to go in there for 40 to 45 minutes. So let me set the timer. And there we go. So one down, one to go. So let's start. These are Parmesan thyme crackers, and I absolutely adore them. I usually make them whenever, well, not whenever I'm entertaining, but the great thing about this and what I'm going to show you today is that we're going to make them ahead, and I'm going to roll them into a log. And then, in fact, Megan, would you mind grabbing me some saran wrap? My doctor calling, sorry. So we're going to make them into a log, and then I'm going to put them in the freezer. And then that way, when I have unexpected guests coming, thank you so much. I have unexpected guests coming over, I'll just pull them out of the freezer, maybe 30 minutes before they're due to arrive, let them come to room temperature. They do very quickly, and slice them into biscuit rounds and pop them in the oven at 375, and you have yourself homemade biscuits. So with no further ado, let's start the process. So we're going to start with 1/4 pound, which is 1 stick of unsalted butter. And this recipe does say unsalted. This is an Ina Garden recipe. So remember yesterday the recipe just said butter. And my rule of thumb is if it just says butter, use salted butter. If it says unsalted butter, then unsalted. Okay, so there we go. And we're going to cream this for just a few minutes. So let's turn this on. Is it plugged in? Yep. All righty. Want to turn me? There we go. Okay, I'll step into the shot. There. Oh, thank you. All right, ready? Nope. How about if we put the mixer up like it's supposed to be? Now we can cream it. There we go. Okay. Okay. So we're going to cream this for about 1 minute until it turns almost like an ivory tone. It's not yellow anymore, but it's more ivory. And then we're going to put in about 4 ounces, which is really actually about a cup of Parmesan cheese. So I mean, you're probably sick of hearing me say this, but I always say, don't buy already grated Parmesan. Always grate it yourself. And so I grate it and I put it in the freezer for safekeeping. Okay, we're going to just put this on low, and we are going to add These are 2 half cups. What I love about this KitchenAid mixer is that because the bowl is not very wide, when you go to put something in the bowl, what happens is you bang up against the mixer itself, but they have this cool little attachment. I don't know if you can see this. So you can just like pour it right in there, and it's so much easier. So I love that about this mixer. What I love about the Breville mixer is it doesn't have an attachment like this, but the Breville mixer, if it says stir for 3 minutes or whip for 3 minutes, it has a little timer on the side that counts out how many minutes it's been whipping. And so I love that about the Breville. So each mixer has things I like. I want someone to make one that has everything. I mean, every appliance needs to have everything. Okay, so now we have that. We're going to put in a teaspoon of minced fresh thyme leaves. So these thyme leaves came right out of Nanny Bubby's garden. So let's take a look down there. And I am just going to pull them down. There we go. Just go backwards with them. There. Turn this off. And let's see, let's grab another one that would be easy to scale. And just pull that right off. That's about a teaspoon. We're going to chop it up nice and fine. There we go. I love the smell of fresh thyme. And I love it because it was picked 20 minutes before you got here. So I absolutely love this. And you're going to love when you see how easy this is and how you can make it and just keep it in your freezer for when people show up. Hey, Teresa, did I say hi to you already? I loved your posts. So cute. Everybody went crazy for your charcuterie board and all those cheeses that you keep in your refrigerator. Oh my gosh. You are never going to be short on cheese. That's for sure. Hashtag Wisconsin cheese on that one, Teresa. That was a lot of cheese. Okay, so the thyme is in there. We're going to put in a half a teaspoon of salt and pepper. So here we go with the salt and the pepper. I ground this pepper fresh today. There we go. And that pepper smells so good. And then as we start to stir it, we are gradually going to add 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. And this, again, is really great because, if I can just turn you here, there we go. The way that this attachment works is that you can literally just, you can see without this attachment, you literally would be hitting the mixer and it would be going all over, which can be fun or not. Depends on the day, right? Depends who you're cooking with. Okay, so here we go. Get this. Gradually it's going in. So much easier with that attachment. So let's speed it up just a little bit. We're going to get big crumbles the size of peas. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take off my favorite attachment. Thank you. Something is calling for chives that I forgot to put in. I think that other recipe had chives in it, and I forgot. So there you go. Okay, so no going back now. It's already in the oven. So let's get this out. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab, I just want to show you, I'm going to take this off and just show you how these are just crumbles the size of peas. And there we go. I have a big mess to clean up today. So can you see that? This is just small crumbles, just like that. We're going to take our spatula and just mix it around, just, take it from the bottom and just fold that which is stuck to the bottom. So there's butter stuck to the bottom and everything. Now, if this doesn't come into a ball right away, we're just going to add a little bit of water to soften it up. We may or may not need that. Let's see. So, ready? Hands in. Chef's best tools are clean hands, which I have. And so let's tip you in and let's see if you can see this. I think probably if I move this over, I've got such small space here. If I move this over and do that, you can see into it. There we go. All right. There we go. So let's see if we can make this into a ball, or do we need to add just a teaspoon? And really, if you're going to add water, I mean, I've gone, oh, it's too dry, and like put in like 2 tablespoons of water, and honestly, it's just way too much. So here's some butter stuck up here. Okay. So it's very moist, and I think it's going to hold. So let's turn over here. We're going to tip this over onto the board. There we go. And we will, there we go. And we're going to, there we go. Do you see how cool that is? It's actually coming together. You see that? You can. And so what we're going to do is make it into a log. And maybe if I just wet my hands, which is all I might need to do to get this, there we go. At this point, so every once in a while, the fun thing about cooking is what you always do fails, and so you just have to start again, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this in here, back into the bowl, and I am going to add a teaspoon of water because it did not feel this dry, but it is. It's way dry, and it is not forming as it has, and it could just be because I usually make this in the wintertime, and it is so hot out that it may just be very, very dry. So let me just get a little bit of water here on this spatula. Should be enough. There we go. Can you see that? Just lacking a teaspoon right here. And let me mix this around just a bit. There we go. Get a little bit of moisture in there. Okay, it's coming together just a little bit better. And I'm going to add just one more. So here we go. Okay. I think that might have done it. Feels better. Okay. So let's just turn it out onto the board. Isn't that crazy? But sometimes things fail. You got to put them back into the pot, back into the bowl, and just make it better. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to take this and just form it into a log. It's coming together much better now. There we go. Yep. There we go. So this is all hand done. You don't have to worry about rolling it out with a rolling pin. You don't have to worry about anything. Now, I'm just going to show you when you take this out of the freezer. Look at that's coming together beautifully. And so it's flat on the bottom. But when you take this out of the freezer, and I'm going to do this and then have to put it back together, but you're going to cut them in just these kind of little slices here. So you can see that they just come out as like little biscuits. And once I get this into the saran wrap, let's put it back together so no one knows I did that. When I get it into the saran wrap, what I'm going to do is roll it in the saran wrap and make it round. So they really do come cut once you take them out, very, very round, and they're quite lovely. So, okay, I'm going to take a pastry scraper. Hold on just a minute. There we go, and I'm just going to scrape. I don't want to lose any of this because it's too delicious. And you really can see how easy this was. I mean, this recipe is as easy, if not even easier, than making a quiche. It's just very, very simple to do. Okay, there we go. So let's get the saran wrap. And let me show you how I'm going to do this. May not have left myself some room, but you know, we'll just start again. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to take this and just move it. There we go. Can you see that? Yep, you can see it good. All right. Putting it back together. Take the wrap. Grab these little pieces. Stick them in there. Don't want to lose even a drop of this. It's too delicious. And now as we start to roll it in the saran wrap, I'm going to flatten the corners. And this is so easy to do in the wrap. So much easier than without the wrap, right? So put this in. And now we're going to finish rolling it. It's amazing. And then I'm going to tighten these edges down. Push this in so we have a nice square edge. And even if you don't, you can just cut that little end off. And then let's just roll it a little bit, making it a cylinder. There you go. And there it is. So I'm going to wrap that in foil now. Hey, Tom Roberts, nice to have you here. This is what I like about your shows, problem solving in real time. Well, what choice do I have, Teresa? I mean, you know, and even I have to say on Monday when I made the blackberry basil jam, for years I had been dicing that apple and putting it in. And then afterwards I had to mush it up. And that was an extra step. And while I was making it live with you guys on Monday, I realized, why didn't I put that apple right into the Vitamix with the blackberries and mush it up? And honestly, that gelled better than anybody else any other time that I made it. Sorry, I start getting texts and everything, so I try not to pay attention. So that's it. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to wrap this in foil, and then I will forget what is in that log. And thank you for saying that, Teresa. I'll forget. So somewhere on that foil, you need to put a Post-it note or write on the foil with a Sharpie pin or something that says Parmesan cheese biscuits or crackers. They're just amazing. And believe me when I tell you, these melt in your mouth. So it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Tom Roberts, for being here. What a joy it is to see you here. And that's it for today. What time do we have? Let's see, we've still got 20 minutes for that Parmesan cheese quiche, or the Swiss cheese quiche, which we also put in the Gruyere cheese, to come out of the oven. But once it comes out, oh, thanks, Arlene. Well, thank you, Colette. Everybody, thank you. Yum, I know. Yum on the quiche and yum on the Parmesan thyme crackers, right? And Colette, one day you'll have to give us your ingredients for a non-wheat cracker loaf like this. So Colette is producing ingredients that you can buy in a packet, and you'll just be able to buy her brand, and it will be mixed, and you can use it to literally make this. So that is great. Yes, Colette, that's wonderful. I look forward to that day, and I cannot wait to promote that for you. So anyway, that's it. Arlene, thank you for being here. Frank, thank you. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, everybody who is here. I will take a picture of the quiche as soon as it comes out of the oven. I'm going to wrap this in foil and get it into the freezer. I just want to tell you, maybe Megan can help me. Can you grab a couple of the jars of the jam out of the refrigerator? Yes. So I just want to tell you, I just want to just right there on the second shelf. Yeah. So I left these. I didn't put them in the freezer yet, but these are the little jars that I'm going to freeze these in. And I do want to tell you, I was surprised at how delicious this was, because if you remember, the recipe just calls for blackberries, but I could not find blackberries anywhere that day. And so I did a mixed berry, which was strawberries, blueberries, and blackberries. And let me tell you, the strawberries really gave this a sweet flavor, so I really, really, really enjoyed it. So these little jars you can get at Albertsons. You can get them on Amazon too, but they're a little more expensive, and you can just get them at Amazon. You can even get the small size, which is just double this, about that size, also at Albertsons. And when everybody was running out of mason jars, Albertsons had them nonstop, so it was great to see. So that's it. Hashtag Wisconsin cheese. Hashtag post your recipes today. Hashtag, yep, and Cynthia bought raspberry and blueberry, blackberry. So there you go. Everybody's buying stuff. Make this jam. It's going to be great. And you know what? Cynthia want to come see you. So I just want to talk about this. Cynthia and I are going to the Temecula Olive Oil Company on Monday. I'm going to be down in Laguna again. So on Monday, I will not be here in my kitchen. I'm going to be in Temecula, and I'm going to go to the actual original farm of Temecula Olive Oil Company, and I'm going to reach out to the marketing department and hope that they'll allow me to come and film and interview them and talk to them. If not, we'll just take a tour around and tape it anyway. I don't know, unless they throw us out. I am dying to see it. I'm such a fan, as you know, of Temecula Olive Oil Company, and I cannot wait to tour the ranch and see all the olive trees and watch their process, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to bring that to you and show you all the different olive oils that are available there. And they are not paying me to say this, unlike Wisconsin cheese. Okay. So there you go. I know I always say nobody was standing in line to pay me to say anything about anything, but Wisconsin cheese did. So I'm happy to do it for them, because everybody should support our farmers, because our farmers in this country gave us, they give us their life. When they farm for us, they give us their life. And they do things early in the morning, and they live a very, very hard life just so we can have food on our table. And so I was so thrilled to hear from them, because I really want to thank them. I'm going to be interviewing some of their farmers down the road, because I really, really want to pay homage to the life, not life sentence, but oh my God, to the life commitment, that's the word, life commitment that they have to feeding you and me and our families. So all kidding aside, I love our dairy farmers, and the fact that everything is better with cheese is absolutely true. All right, everybody. Cynthia, I don't have the names because it's somewhere all the way back in the text, somewhere from over a year ago. So text me the name again, and that will make it so easy on me. Okay, everybody. Thank you. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Go out and hashtag Wisconsin cheese and spread love like butter. Okay, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Love you all.